Hey, hey friends. I have tried to record this now 3 times, but I am so disorganized in my own mind that I don't know where to start. And then I start rambling, and then I'm like, fuck, I didn't explain it enough. But it's okay. This time I'm gonna get some things from the other videos and paste them in between because it's all jumbled in there, so it doesn't really work. I need to okay. So this is mainly for my little friends. Hey, but if you are here and you don't know me, my name is Romy, and I have started this week, I've started The Artist Way. The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. A spiritual path to higher creativity. In this first part, I will be explaining what the Artist Way is. Then I will be explaining a little bit of the first pages that I read. I read the first 100 pages. And then I will be talking about my week. Okay. So what is the Artist Way? The Artist Way, I'll get more in depth about the text in part 2. But the Artist Way is, very quickly said, a 12-week program written about this woman who herself is an artist and a writer who lived in New York. And it's 12 weeks. It's kind of like a self-help sort of thing. But it's a 12-week program of finding your own creativity again. Which I thought in the beginning it would be something you get more creative, but it's not. You get more in touch with your creativity. And I think it's more you kind of unblock yourself from being scared to be creative. You are all in the book she writes, oh my god, I'm doing part 2. 1 second. In the book she writes that everyone is inherently creative, and it's more 12-week journey to get to your own creativity and to be more open about it, and to see creativity more in a way that's a need instead of a task. So every week, every day, you do your morning pages, which is 3 pages of writing a stream of consciousness. When you wake up, 3 pages. No skipping out. 12 weeks, every morning. And then you also do every week 1 artist date, which is a date with yourself. Because yet again, I will go in on this more. But she says that, she writes in a book that your creativity is kind of your inner child, your inner artist, which goes hand in hand. Artist brain, inner child. And you need to keep a relationship with your inner child. You can't just not spend time with yourself, because then you are kind of not upkeeping your relationship with your creativity. It's the same as if you have a partner or a parent or a child or a sibling or a friend. You need to keep in contact with them, and you need to see them, and you need to talk to them, and you need to do things together, because otherwise you're not upkeeping your relationship, and then you don't really have the relationship at a certain point anymore. So it's the same with your creativity. So you do an artist date every week where you do something by yourself. No one is invited. You and yourself do something. And it needs to be something that fuels your creativity, something that your inner child wants to do. So that's the artist date. And then every week you also get 10 tasks that you need to do, but she also writes down, which yet again I will talk more about, but She also writes down that what does she write down? She writes down that like there are 10 tasks, but like she knows that like everyone who's trying to do this has a life or is like a real human being. So like putting all this pressure on yourself of like, I need to do this and this and this and this and this. She says like, there's 10 tasks, you do half of them. Like you have to do half of them. And you can do all of them, but you have to do half of them. And you need to pick the ones which are not neutral to you. So either the ones that you really, really don't want to do, or the ones that you really, really do want to do, but not the ones that you're neutral about. Which I thought was really, really nice. So that's kind of the artist way, very quickly. Now I will talk about like the book. Hey, wait, I'll do like a little thingy thing. La 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 la. Ooh, took a screenshot. So, hey, this is my journey with the artist way. So, I was scrolling on TikTok, as I very often do, and I found like this girl, and she was like, Doechii did the artist way, and Doechii is now big star, and you can find her videos on YouTube. And I have put the artist way in Notion, so you can do it on Notion, which if you don't know, Notion is like a notes app. And you can buy it or you can download it in my profile link, blah 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 blah. So I'm like, I've saved it, and I had it like on my TikTok for like a really long time. But the way that I am, like I'm like collecting, and then I feel like I need to be cleaning. But I'm a little bit of a hoarder, so it like, but I now it was like cleaning up my saves from TikTok. And I saw the video again, and I was like, I'll go download it, go to the website. Why the fuck is she like trying to get $5 from me from Notion templates? No, no, I'm not doing that. So I just looked it up online. Archive.org, just on there, free download. So here it is. Hello, the book. So I started last week on Wednesday, and I read everything until week 3 because I was like really into it, and I wanted to work on it, and I wanted to like start, but like you have to start with like knowing what you need to do. So I couldn't just start that day. I needed to know. So I just kept reading, and I really liked it. I did need to like get into it like a little bit, because in the beginning she was like talking, and like I felt like there were like sometimes certain things in there that I was like, I don't know if I am trusting this like entirely, because multiple things. One, she, in the introduction and in the first part, she gives a lot of examples of like students and people who have sent out to her and like given the course through people to people, and it ended up all the way in Timbuktu, and you know, like it feels a little bit like believe me and believe this course because so many people want it, so many people need it, and blah 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 blah. I was a little bit like, okay queen, sure, whatever, we'll see. And the other thing is that she writes that creativity comes from a higher power. And in the book she writes, I am writing down God, but you can use God as like a replacement term and like write whatever you want there. Like imagine that God could be like fate, could be like creator, could be like the universe, you know? So you can like interchange the words. I have a little bit of like, not a problem, but like difficulty with it, because I am not a spiritual person. I am not a godly woman. So the way that she wrote it like was a little bit like sometimes a little hard, and I needed to like actively change the words to find it a little bit more like I could relate to it, or like I could try to understand it, because she was like, you are a creation yourself and you need to like create in order to give back. I don't need to do shit. I don't. I'm doing this for myself. I don't just yet know if I believe that I am inherently creative and I am in need to give back. Those are two things that I was like a little iffy about. Things that I do really like is the more human parts of the book. Like she writes in a way that is very like, this is life, you know. Like she writes, one thing that she wrote down is that need to burp. Okay. One thing she writes down is you need to not see your own creativity as a task, or like something in a way like that. I'm like paraphrasing. She writes down like, you are a creative person, you are wanting to be more creative, you are already creative, but you like are now like in this mindset of like creativity is a task, and like you need to like choose to be creative instead of like you're gonna like become creative, or like not become, whatever, you're like already creative, but you need to like not see creativity as a task and see it as like a need, like you can't live without expressing this creativity. But then she writes down like, something that you are gonna do, or that you have already done, or yada yada, is that you will be like, oh, I need to be creative, I will look up like this fuck ass article online, and I will like read all of it and be like, oh my god, I'm so smart, I'm so creative. No, she says like, don't fucking do that, because like you're seeing your own creativity as like a task, which is not what you should be doing. Like your creativity needs to be something fun and something that you want to do, and not something that you feel like you need to be doing. You don't need to read the biggest books, because if you're doing it as like a performative thing for yourself, who is getting something out of it? If you're not doing it for yourself and you're getting something out of it, then who is your creativity for, if not yourself? Which I really liked, because I was like, oh, makes so much sense. But also I have done that. I kind of feel like I need to just get into my week. If any of my friendly friends want the document that I like marked with things that I thought were interesting, otherwise you find it on archive.org, and then you do it yourself. Bam. Okay, let's get back to this. My week. So I've explained to you now everything, or like the useful things, whatever. My week. I'm gonna just read from this. I'm also translating on the spot. So I have read everything until week 3 in one go. I noticed that I've already been explaining to people in my head what I've been doing, which like you are not allowed to read out your morning pages to other people, or let other people read your morning pages, and you're not allowed to go on an artist date with someone else. Like it needs to be just you and yourself, and you and I, you, me, no, not me, you. Me and me, and you, not together. 2, then I would say to them that I'm probably not going to do it well, to the people that I'm explaining what I'm doing to. And I'm saying that, like, I'm not gonna do it well. And then I'm trying to search up who has done it, because, and if I feel like if it would work. And then 4, immediately want to do everything in one go and thinking that I will, like, give up in 3 days. And as she also writes in the book, she writes down, like, you're gonna, like, feel like you need to start on a creative project right now. You don't, because then you're already, like, you need to pace yourself. It's a 12-week program. You're not gonna become the biggest, greatest artist in 1 week. Also, something that she writes down, you need to be able to become a bad artist before you become a good artist. Which I'm like, okay. Tomorrow I start. My weeks are Thursday to Wednesday, because those are 7 weeks, so I don't understand why she writes in the books that, like, Sunday to Sunday. Also, I started in the middle of the week because I think I've said it in this one, like, I wanted to start. So I was like, I'm starting. I'm not waiting until next Monday or next Sunday. Also, a week doesn't start on Sunday, so... and then I went on a walk with my dog for 20 to 30 minutes without headphones, which was, like, a really big thing for me, because I always wear headphones. Like, I could go to the store. When I was, like... No. Thursday, day 1. I did my morning pages. I talked with friends about the artist way, and it felt very cultish because I felt like I was recruiting them, and I expected multiple times throughout the day the feeling like there would be a result, even though it's very logical that there isn't. Friday, day 2. Yesterday I forgot my affirmations. Today I did them. After my morning pages, I kept thinking like I needed to write down my thoughts in my morning pages. I don't really know how I need to go through my tasks, like how to divide them, because I feel like the people who do their tasks, either they're doing them way more like detailed than I'm doing them, which again, I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing it well. You're probably doing it fine. Like if you're doing it, then you're probably doing it okay. But I was like, how? Because I am right now living like a life that's a little bit more like I have time. So I was like, how do I divide these tasks that I don't, one, all do them at the same time, like in one go, and then I don't have anything else for the next 6 days, or 2, like don't do them all in the last day, and then I'm like, oh no, I didn't do anything this week before this day, you know? So it was like, how do I divide them? So I wrote all of them down. Stop, Magnus. So I wrote all of them down, and I kind of like divided them in my head, that I was like, okay, I'm doing 2, and then the next day I'm doing 2, and blah blah blah. And I did all my tasks, which the tasks for the weeks are 1, morning pages plus affirmations plus blurts. And your blurts are like the ideas that you get in your head while you're doing your affirmations. Like the negative thoughts that you like feel doubting yourself. So I started with my morning pages, and I started doing A4s, which was ludicrous because you need to do 3 of these like every day, which I did 3 days, I think. And then I was like, this is too much, because she also writes down that you need to like wake up half an hour earlier. This took me like more than half an hour. Like every morning I was like there for like an hour, maybe even longer. I don't know. But so I started with like A4s, and then I went over to like smaller. Also, like all of my pages are like different because I keep changing the formats that I'm doing. Not like how long necessarily, but also like sometimes I'm sleeping over at my boyfriend's, and then I get papers from him. And then I need to do my affirmations. which I can tell you the affirmations. I'm also not allowed to read my own morning pages because I'm gonna how do I say it? Be very critical of my own writing. So I'm not allowed to read my own writing. So one of the affirmations I did all of my affirmations in Dutch, but I'm gonna. So I, Romy, am a talented and creative artist. And then blurts were, for example, you're not really talented. Everyone is more creative than you. You can't even get to start making art. You don't care enough. And stuff like that. I, Romy, am creative enough. You're not very creative. Everyone's more creative. Creative people make arts. Stuff like that. And then you need to rephrase them. So then from the blurts, you need to start changing them. So they are like, I am creative and I make art. Stuff like that. I am talented. Art matters to me. I am doing this, so I am caring. I, Romy, have important creative things to share. I, Romy, am a real artist. And I, Romy, make real art. Stuff like that. Those are my affirmations in my morning pages. But I'm not allowed to read them. And my blurts. Then I did my artist date. I did my artist date pretty late this week. Because I was scared to do it wrong. I was like, what do I want to do? What does my creative artist, my inner child, want to do? I was really I don't know what I want for my creative artist dates. So I struggled with it, and then I kind of pushed it away, and every day I was either I didn't do anything, I was I don't feel like doing the creative thing, the artist day today, or I was meeting up with friends and then I didn't have time because you're not allowed to do it with other people, you need to do it by yourself. So I did it yesterday, and I went and got coffee with myself, and then I read for an hour and a half. So I just sat down in a little coffee shop and I read for an hour and a half, which I'm proud of because I'm not that big of a reader, because I never make time for it. I don't mind reading. I just never like to do reading if I can do something else. I would rather watch YouTube or watch a movie or scroll than I would read. So I'm kind of proud of myself that I went out of my way to read. And also I read 80 pages, which go, nay, I almost finished my fucking book. I need to do 50 more pages. So maybe I'll do that this week, because then I finish it. It's Joe Didion. Then, now I'm gonna go quicker through them, I feel because I feel no one got to 23 minutes. No one. 3, time travel. Write down 3 old enemies who have hurt your creativity. 4, time travel. Write down 1 horror story about one of these horror people, enemies. 5, letter of defense for yourself, that you write down a letter if it wasn't you, homie is fucking nice and these people were fucking bitches. 6, time travel. Write down 3 old champions. I first of all had a really hard time with my enemies, because I was I don't know who my enemies are. I'm my worst enemy. I am my worst enemy. I don't have that many people who are boo you. But I wrote down just people who hurt me. And then my 3 old champions aren't very old champions. They're champions that I have now. But again, I don't feel I had that many champions when I was younger in my creativity. And I didn't have any enemies either. But I don't know. I don't feel my creativity was that important to the world. Or maybe to me when I was younger. I don't know. So the 3 old champions are new champions. Then I wrote encouragement or thank you letters. I wrote 1 thank you letter to one of my champions, which I don't know if I'm allowed to say who it is, so I'm not. And then I wrote down imaginary lies, which I only did today, so it really didn't matter. But one of the imaginary lies is YouTuber or vlogger, which this is it. So kind of fucking did that also. And then I did the blurred injuries transforming. So for example, you are not a real artist because you don't make art. And then I transform it and I'm like, I am a real artist. I do make art. And then I did a 20-minute walk by myself to get coffee. And then also multiple times with my dog, which I don't know if that counts because I'm not alone. But also she's a dog. I don't know. So that's that. That was week 1. Do I feel any changes? Ups and downs. I don't know. The first 3 days or something, I was talking with my friends about it. And one day I was drunk on cafe. And I was really talking about it. And I was it's 12 weeks and I'm doing it. And you're going to notice and you're going to watch these YouTube videos. And I'm going to be there's going to be such a change inside of me. But 1 week has passed. How much change has happened? None. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing all of my morning pages, which I'm very surprised by myself. Because go you. Because a part of me thought that I would have already stopped. Which, it's self-will. She also writes this down. You not making art, or you feeling this creative block within you, or you thinking that your creativity is a task that you need to do instead of a need for yourself, it's self-will. All of this is self-will. You're choosing to do this because you're scared. So it's self-will. So I'm doing it every morning because I'm I can do this. I can, so I will. 12 weeks. I can, so I will, because the time will pass anyway. So do I feel a lot of change as for now? Not really. In myself, not really. But I talk about the artist way quite often. And I'm keeping myself really busy with it. I'm gonna pace myself and I'm gonna do it fucking well. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it. Okay, that's that, because I need to stop. I don't know. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna see. Also, I'm how do you say it? Comparing myself with the Dochi video, because I watched not the entire week 1 video, but I watched the beginning of it, and I'm was so different. But obviously we are. That's also a thing. I need to learn how to be okay with my own creativity. Okay. So, whatever. This was week 1. I will see you next week. There's ups and downs, I believe in it, but also I want to feel it. But it's normal that I'm not feeling it yet. So, whatever. Bye-bye.